In lesson 5.3, applications of percent, we're going to continue on with our work with 7.RP.3, again back to ratios and proportional relationships, to solve multi-step ratio and percent problems. The essential question then is, how do you use percents to solve problems? So really we're going to build on the work in 5.1 and 5.2. So when we're looking at finding total cost, a big area that is not necessarily in Delaware but in the surrounding states of Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, New Jersey is sales tax. And that's when something is a percent that's put on to the purchase price. So you'll have the original price plus you're going to have a sales tax that you have to pay. So if you went and bought a $1 candy bar and you had a 6% sales tax, you better have $1.06 ready to pay. Otherwise, you're not going to get the candy bar. So they have an example here. Marcus buys a varsity jacket from a clothing store in Anaheim. The price of the jacket is 80% and the sales tax is 8%. What's the total cost? So we can go ahead and use the bar as an example. Okay. I think what I want to do though is I want to go back to what we learned in 5.1 and 5.2. I think that's going to help you out a little bit easier. So again, we have to highlight our important information, sales tax, and then what's the total amount. If we remember, I'm going to use S as our original amount of 80, okay, plus we're going to have 8% of S, and that's going to equal our total cost. So I'm going to, if we do the steps first, if we remember 8%, divide that by 100, and if you do that on a calculator, you're going to come out to 0.08. Okay, so then this is going to be 1s, because remember this is 100 or 100%, plus 0.08s, and that's going to equal, if we add those two up together, 1.08s. So now if we substitute our numbers in here, so if we go ahead and we do 80 plus 8% of 80 is $6.40. If we add those together, we're going to get $86.40. Second way that we can do that is we can go ahead and take the 1.08 and we multiply that by 80. And you're still going to get $86.40 is going to be the markup. That's going to be the total cost of the jacket. We look here at the your turn. Sharon wants to buy a shirt that costs $20 and the sales tax is 5%. How much is the sales tax and what's your total cost? So you really have two things that you got to do here, okay? So that's why I tell you, pay attention to what the questions are asking you. There's two things here. So the original amount of, I'm going to use that as S. If I took 5% and divided it by 100, I'm going to come out with 0.05. So if I added those two together, that's going to become 1.05S. Now, here's the thing. How much is the sales tax? So I got to find that out, okay? I know the original cost. This is going to be $20, okay? But I have to find out what 5% or 0.05 of the $20 is. So I take 0.05 times 20, okay? 0.05 times 20, and I get, so my sales tax is $1. And then I add those two together, I take 20 plus 1, and the total cost of the shirt then is going to be 21. Had I simply just taken 1.05 times 20, the only thing I would have found was this cost here. I would not have been able to answer my sales tax unless I would have taken 21 minus, that's my total cost, minus my original cost, and then I could find my sales tax of $1. So there are several ways that you go about doing this. I would get comfortable in learning how to do all of them so that no matter which way the question is asked, that you can figure it out. Okay, finding simple interest. It's kind of like doing the tax, but this is a business term, banking, that you're going to have to know how to do that. Either when you deposit money, okay, or when you borrow money. There's usually interest for the fact that you're either loaning or letting someone use your money. And there's two kinds of terms. Now, you're only responsible for simple interest, and it's the fixed percent on the principal. The principal is the original amount of money borrowed or deposited. Okay. Terry deposits $200 into a bank. It says deposit, so that means this money is going into your account. It earns 3% interest per year. What's the total amount in 2 years? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our 3% right here, and we're going to divide it by 100. We're going to get this. We go ahead and take the interest rate times now they said the initial deposit, that's that $200. So 0.03 times 200 is $6. And then after first year, we're going to have $6. So we take that, and if we take the 200 and we add plus 6, so then we're going to have $206 after 1 year. That would be the total amount. That's the interest that you earn. That's the original amount. Still looks like the same format as what we did in previous examples and module or lesson 1.5.1, 5.2. But now what they do here is simple interest. You simply just take however many more years that you're going to have, and you multiply that, and you get 12. Okay, so 6 times 2. I mean, if they said 4 years up here, we'd go on 6 times 4, and it'd been 24, and then you add that. So what they're asking for is, what is the total amount in the account after 2 years? But what if this question said, what is the total amount after 1 year and 2 years? Well, then after 1 year, you're going to have to do this. Okay? And if it's after 2 years, then you're going to have to go ahead and add this part. So they go ahead through and they show you the rest here. Borrows $400 on a 4-year loan. She's charged 5% simple interest per year. How much interest is she charged for 4 years? So they're only asking for that total amount that she has to pay back. So you would take the 5%, of course, becomes 0.05 because you divided that by 100. You then take the 400 times the 0.05, and that's going to equal 20 for 1 year, and then you multiply that by 4 because it's 4 years, and that's 80. So she's going to have to pay back, you have to pay back the original amount, so 400 plus the 80, so she's going to have to pay back a total of $480. Remember, you borrowed that, so you got to pay back the interest. That's the cost of using someone else's money, and then the $400, which is the original amount. So you got to pay both of those back. So if you're in Maryland and you went out to dinner, okay, this is what the Sanchez family has done. They paid $60 for the meal. Maryland has a 7% sales tax. I don't know what Maryland's actually is, but we'll just say it's 7%. And they also want to leave a tip of 15%. Well, these things are usually excluded from each other when you make the calculations. So we definitely know the bill is $60. The sales tax, they just converted it to decimal, so it's 0.07. And the same for the tip is 0.15. You're going to find the sum, the total cost is going to be the sum of the bill for the meal, the sales tax, and the tip. And then one of the things that we do is says calculate the sales tax separately, then calculate the tip, and then add the product to the bill for the meal to find the total cost. So the sales tax is 0.07 of 60, so it's $4.20. And then you take and you do the tip on the $60. So 0.15 times 60 is $9. Now you add those three together, 60 plus $4.20 plus 9 equals $73.20. And that's what the total bill or the total cost would be. Ketter earns a monthly salary of $2,200 plus a 3.75% commission on the amount of sales at the men's clothing store. 1 month he sold $4,500 in clothing. What's his commission for that month? how much did he earn in all? Show your work. Okay, so we have the $2,200. We have to convert the 3.75 into a decimal because this is a percent. So we divide that by 100. So that's going to become 0.0375. It's the 3.75% commission on the amount of sales. Well, here's the amount of sales. It's 4,500. So you're going to take this and we're going to multiply the 4,500. This amount is going to come out to $168.75. So this is what his commission is. But we got to go ahead and we have to include this. So you're going to take it says what was his commission for that month. Okay, so I answered that question right here. All right, I would expect you guys to be just a little bit more neater. And how much did he earn in all? So I have to add those two values together, 2,200 plus the $168.75. So, and then, okay, so I'm going to let you find out what that final answer is. One thing, last thing I want to point out here is that when you guys see this, 5% of $30, that means to multiply, okay? Multiply. Up. 5% up. So you're going to have to convert your 5% into your decimal. So remember, we divide by 100. So that becomes 0.05. And then we're going to multiply that by 30. So 5% of 30 is going to be some value. 0.4% of 100 is going to be some value. Again, always divide by 100, okay? Take your percentages. So like if I take 200 and I divide that by 100, it's going to equal 2. So 2 times 5 is going to equal 10. So 200%, which is double that, is going to equal $10. So that kind of makes sense there, okay? If I double my 5 doubled. I hope that works out for you. And if you got any questions, let me know.